best mixture of each country. Well, let's have a look on the first two tests. We are starting with the demo tests in a second, with the test number 1 and test number 2. Test number 1 will be endurance, and test number 2 will be strength. We'll see you guys in a second.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, Individuals, Workout 1 and Workout 2. This is a two-scored event. You are going to be completing one round every 6 minutes for 4 total rounds. It's a 24-minute long workout. Every 6 minutes, you'll be completing a 1,000 meter row and 5 thrusters at the load of your choice. Your scores at the end of this one are your combined 1,000 meter row times, so row 1 plus row 2 plus row 3 plus row 4. Your second score for the strength test is your combined totals of the thruster loading, the 5 reps plus the 5 reps for all 4 rounds. This is a fun one, guys. Get after it.
So, back again, we are 10 seconds before the tests start. Well, Gretchen, can you see all the athletes preparing?
Yeah, it looks like everybody's ready. This is going to be a tough test, I think, with 4 rounds of 1,000 meter row, then having a set of 5 rep max thruster each round. So they're really going to have to focus on their pacing on these rows.
Well, what time do you expect the first meters row finished for the athletes? What do you think?
That's a good question. You know, they don't want to go all out on this first row, but they also can't afford to pace it too much. They really need to find a pace that is the fastest they can hold, you know, for repeatable sets. So I think we'll see people maybe getting off in, let's say, sub 3.5 minutes.
Well, 3.5 minutes are pretty much that pace I would go on these 1,000 meter rows if there would be 2 rounds. So, but there are 4 rounds, and the athletes gotta do 5 unbroken thrusters for weight. So the score for test number 2 will be the total weight for all the rounds and the 5 unbroken thrusters. So I would totally guess on a sub 4 on the rowing, and the athletes try to really go on heavy on the thrusters. But I guess we'll see in a second. If you guys have any suggestion or tip for us, well, leave it in the commentary line here in the top chat. I will have an eye on that during the hosting. So if you just stepped into this live stream, we are here at the live stream of the Continental Cup Men's Finals. And we are just started with test number 1, the test of endurance. It would be interesting, I guess, for you, Gretchen, as well, to know who is watching from which country. We have 39 active viewers right now on the stream.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. I would love to know where everybody's from. And I think we have our chat set up now so that you can do some super chats with us or super stickers if you would like to help support our federation. But I'd love to know where everybody's from watching. We've got, 11 different countries, I think, competing. So hopefully we have people from all over the world watching and supporting everyone in their country.
I mean, I hope all of the German community is watching right now. We are not have any German athlete right now at the finals. Well, that's sad, but the best men got into this final from each continent. So Gretchen, what was the Continental Cup this year about? You split it a little bit more into continents, so it's a little bit better for the located athletes to go to the finals. How was the strategy this year?
Yeah, so this is the first time we've done the Continental Cup, and it was kind of something we, hadn't planned on doing until the pandemic started and we had to cancel our World Championships. We still wanted to be able to have an event for the athletes so they could get to compete, on an international scale, but from their home gyms. So we thought the best way to do that would to be to kind of try this new format where they're doing the workouts condensed in 2 hours, which is tough by itself, but also give sort of a preliminary and final round, based on their continents. So it could still have that world championship feel, but still allow everybody to be included at least in some way.
Well, I guess this new strategy is also a good strategy for the next years if, well, the pandemic isn't over yet. We have the first athletes at the thrusters after 4 minutes. So the athletes took a while to rest after the rowing and did not start directly into the thrusters. What would you think as an athlete? What would be your strategy on the thrusters? I mean, 5 thrusters with the heaviest load you can go on.
Yeah, so it's interesting here because the way the rules are, if you get your set of 5 and you have time left, or even if you don't get your set of 5, right, you can try again, add more weight, add less weight, and do a second set they've got 6 minutes, right? I don't think I would do that. I think I would just do, my one attempt at 5 and leave it. Maybe the very last round, if you have extra time and you're feeling good, you try to do another set. But I think I would try to pick a weight that I knew I could hit for 5, but that was still kind of at the upper edges of my limits, and keep that basically across all the rounds. The hard part of the strategy is how much time do you rest before your thrusters? You want to rest enough to make sure you get it, but you also want to have rest afterwards before you have to get back on that rower. So you really kind of have to try to game it.
Well, the athletes are starting right now with their second round, and as you can see here in the in all the screens, the athletes are working with a different strategy. We saw a big transition here with a big rest of Jeffrey Gonzalez from Espanyol. We also saw a quicker transition from Limbu Young. The South Korean guys are pretty awesome at all the weightlifting stuff, as we saw in the preliminary. So I guess it's up to the athletes' skill level and also, well, what the athletes like the most. If you're good at rowing, if you're a tall athlete, or if you're a small athlete and you probably got to have good scores at the thrusters, well, that makes it all different and also nice to watch. Gretchen, what would be your first thruster weight when you would also compete in the next stream? We have the women's final.
Oh yeah, thruster weight for me. Thruster's not a great movement for me. I'm good overhead, but coming out of that front squat is tough. For sets of 5, when I'm tired, maybe I feel like 135 pounds is probably like a good goal for me for a set of 5. But these women that will be up next, they'll be crushing it way more than that.
So guys, as we heard, well, we have streams tonight. First the men, then the women, and then the teams. So if you are just sitting at home, as you guys should stay at home right now, well, get a pizza delivered. You will stay a long time here in the streams and also catch up with the chat. Leave us a message while watching right now the stream. We are 8 minutes and 15 seconds into this first workout. and we have a time cap. Well, we have 6 minutes and 4 rounds, so this is 24 minutes for test number 1 and test number 2, the endurance test and the strength tests. The score for test number 1 for endurance will be total time for 4,000 meters of the row, and score number 2 will be the total load for the thrusters. So 9 minutes in, 3 minutes are the athletes right now in the rower, and what about good between 3:30 on the rower and sub 4? I guess one of the athletes are already done on the rower. Well, not yet. So, the Aussie guy, Jake Law, is done with the rowing after 3:38, and also Uldis from Latvia is, well, he takes a little bit more rest before the thrusters. I guess this will be the strategy of all the athletes, trying to keep a good pace on the rower and then go as heavy as possible with their first attempt on the thrusters.
And we can't see exactly what weight everybody is doing on their thrusters, but I would expect big numbers for, so if we look at Marsis from Latvia, he's one of the bigger athletes that we have in this group. So I would guess that for him, probably actually both of these events kind of favor someone of a larger size, with the row is definitely for bigger athletes, as we said, and then for the thruster, just a heavy thruster as well. So I would expect him to do well on both components of these tests.
Well, I think here in the field you should really go on 110. Well, 110 kilos. It's above 200 pounds on the thrusters. We cannot see exactly what the scores will be right now, but we could imagine who is going to crush these. As Gretchen said, well, this workout favors a little bit more the big athletes, but if you got a good threshold and you're good at those front squats and keeping the power out of the hole, I think you could go good on this one. Well, this workout would crush me immediately. Really, I'm not a good rower, really.
Yeah, this is a tough one because not only do you have to be good at the row just once, you have to be able to repeat it 3 more times, and you can't have a lot of fall off in your times. You want to be as consistent as possible.
So we are half time done. 12 minutes are done on the clock, and the athletes are back on the rower. So let's keep an eye on the Latvian guys, Uldis and Marcus, and also on Christoph Howard. We have here the second line from the bottom. And also, if you like the screen as well, below that video, just hit the link button, and if you're gonna share it on Instagram or Twitter, well, leave the hashtag International Functional Fitness Federation and also Continental Cup 2020.
I'll be interested to see how our Japanese athlete, Tomohiro Itea does on this round. It looked like he didn't get back to his rower until right before the start of this third round. He was working on those thrusters pretty late into the third round, or at the end of the second round, rather. And that didn't give him a lot of time to rest before this row. So it'll be interesting to see if that affects him on this next round.
But he got one round left, and we see the first athletes are pretty much done with their 1000 meter row. We're halfway done. We saw one of the technical officials. We have, beside every athlete, we have one judge, one technical official to make sure all the scores are official and count. They're trying to give us a little hand sign, like how much meters they have, but it's pretty hard to see sometimes. But I guess Uldis and Marcus will go off the row first again in this third round.
You can see up in the corner some of the athletes have their stats of their rower. They're using the WeTime app, which is able then to show you their screen and how far along they are and their pace. I know it's a little bit hard to see because we have so many athletes up on the screen right now, but that's a great way to kind of tell where people are and how far along they are in this 1000-meter row. And it looks like Marcus is done.
Yeah, well, he's taking a big rest, I guess, leaning on the wall. But he got a split time from 500 meters within 1:34. So if he can continue this pace, I think he's pretty good in the first two places here after event of test 1 and 2. And we see a different strategy here from Uldis. He's not wearing his knee sleeves during the rowing, but he's putting them on for the thrusters. And well, I often see athletes who are not wearing a t-shirt, but I guess if you're doing weightlifting stuff, it's better to catch the bar in the front rack position if you have a t-shirt on. Well, that's just my opinion, guys. We can have a chat here, but I don't think that that is it's not good.
We had Canada's Stefan Cossette. He finished his row pretty quick and got on those thrusters right away. So he's been done for a while now with his thrusters and has had a long time to rest before the start of this last round, compared to some of the other athletes who are still doing their thrusters or haven't started them yet.
So, 18 minutes on the clock and last round for the athletes. Well, I'm pretty excited about the scores we will have in a second after this workout is done. I mean, we have the creme de la creme. We have really the best athletes from all over the world here in the finals of the Continental Cup 2020. What will be the fight for the podium? Who is going to go to the podium? We have athletes from whole the whole world here competing at the same time. The International Functional Fitness Federation managed it to have a World Cup here today. So if that's not a like worth, well, guys, leave us a like, subscribe the channel as well. We are really working on that to have these for the next years too. And don't forget, at 20 p.m. we have the women athletes competing for the finals, and after this one we have the teams.
So this is their last row now, so they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Hopefully mentally they're just trying to get through this one and know if they can keep a consistent time on the last one, they'll have a good score. But this is also the one where maybe if your thrusters went well, you get off the rower right away and get 5 thrusters, that you try another set and see if you can add some weight just for this last round, because every kilogram will count. So if you get 5 successful and you have time, it might be worth it to see if you can increase weight and go again.
Well, if the guys get still something left in the tank, I guess some of the athletes will work with the fractional plates here.
Mm-hmm.
So as Gretchen said, now every pound counts on this one. So if you could go with a 0.25 more, then I guess the athletes will do that. If not, well, probably you will lose points on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I haven't seen many people, I don't know if I saw anyone trying to take multiple attempts on their thrusters in the earlier rounds. So this is the only round I think I would maybe recommend doing that. But yeah, definitely if they can put on some fractional plates for this last round to try to get ahead. Although remember, they have no idea what everybody else is doing since they were all in their gyms alone doing this.
Well, I talked about this one, that every athlete is working in a black box. They don't see the scores from the other athletes. They gotta perform as best as they can. Well, it's some type of strategy if you're going on your good workout, which you prefer because your skill is good in this one. You go a little bit easier, or in another workout you gotta go a little bit harder. In these finals, the athletes gotta go. I mean, pace, just go. They got rest after this workout, and the next workouts they still gotta push to the limit if they want to go to the podium or even go first place. So, Gretchen, we have around 1.5 minutes left.
Yeah, and I don't know if I've seen a lot of people, a couple people doing thrusters. It looks like everyone's kind of waiting, maybe trying to increase weight before they go for that last set. And there we have Luis from Puerto Rico on his thrusters. Those look like they're moving fast. And Christoph Horvath as well.
So 40 seconds left.
Stefan from France working on finishing up his thrusters. And a lot of athletes really waiting until these last 30 seconds to get their set in, trying to make sure they're going to hit a final set of 5.
So last 10 seconds for the athletes. And we are done. So the athletes will now have a few minutes of rest, and we have Marcus. Gretchen, you win 100 points on betting. Well, it was his workout. He's a big guy. His rowing was really good. His pace was around 130 and 135 on all rounds, so he was pretty good. This is the scores from the rowing, and here we have the scores from the thrusters. Gretchen.
Yeah, it really was, a good workout for Marcus, right? As a bigger athlete. But the scores are pretty close. We've got Stefan from Canada in second. Had a good start there. He's only 1 point behind. It'll be interesting, though, as we go on to the next test.
Putt, passing them in that. Circle with my boys, roll the weed and this is it. Line up these trees like a forest fire. We're smoking the bear hat. Preacher try to top it, we ain't really trying to hear that. It's a little teenage angst with some ignorance. And every chance we get, these kids will get belligerent. Cause there'll be no better in this world we unprepared. Cause peer pressure strong and it was never cool to care about the consequences. Flash 4 or 5 years and the story.
The ball is over, call it close, but we all know what this is gonna be. You came and failed the test, you met the best, expected chess, but got monopoly. I came and bought you out, I knocked you out, I crouched you out with no apologies. I am the hope, the heart, the faith, the spark, the one who will fulfill the prophecy. I just been counting, never lounging, climbing up mountains, bouncing back. Step in the ring of us, you step back. They'll learn hot when I get on the track. I like it louder the most, watching all these sheep just buy down to the goat. If I can't decide, I'ma probably get both. We done celebrate, but right now I'm a toast, resurrected ghost.
Outside, outside, everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine when I shine.
We can take this outside, outside. Hey.
Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide.
Yeah.
I ain't letting nobody stop me this time.
Nah.
Every single level that I reach and I climb.
They ask, are you from outside, outside?
Everything around me I create with my mind.
My mind.
Working too hard, I don't want no downtime.
Nah.
Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine.
Yeah, we can take this. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. I can put fear in the devil. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. We can take this outside, outside. Hey.
Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide.
Yeah.
I ain't letting nobody stop me this time.
Nah.
Every single level that I reach and I climb.
They ask, are you from outside, outside?
Everything around me I create with my mind.
My mind.
Working too hard, I don't want no downtime.
Nah.
Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine.
Yeah, we can take
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, individual, test 3 and test 4. This is the body weight and the skill test. This test is going to be a consistent running clock of 4-minute AMRAPs, so a 16-minute total running clock. AMRAPs 1 and 3 are both max repetitions of burpee box jump overs at 40 inches for the guys and 36 inches for the ladies. The burpee box jump overs, you burpee facing the box and you can get over that box however you please with the use of your hands, even legs of the box if you need to. AMRAPs 2 and AMRAPs 4 are both identical AMRAPs of 5 freestanding handstand push-ups into a 9-meter unbroken handstand walk, followed by a 10-second unbroken L-sit on parallettes. Your freestanding handstand push-ups must start behind a line. You will complete your handstand push-ups, and when you go into your final handstand push-up, once you've completed that, you must not come down before going into your handstand walk. Your handstand walk must also start from behind that line. After that, we have the L-sit. Now, the L-sit is completed on parallettes. The parallettes must be set up 14 inches off the ground to the top of the parallette. You'll also have a stack of plates to guide your feet. These stack of plates are going to be 9 inches off of the ground. We look at the parallettes and the plates here. Parallettes are 14 inches. Plates are set up at 9 inches here. Now, how I'm going to set these ones up to make sure that they are right. I'm going to sit on top of my parallettes with my feet on my plates, and my feet should be in the middle of the stack of plates, okay? Not all the way out in front, not all the way behind. So as soon as I elevate my legs, they will be staying close to the middle of the stack of plates. If I touch these plates midway through my L-sit, I must start that L-sit again because it must be a 10-second unbroken L-sit. Now, for your freestanding handstand push-up into the 9-meter unbroken handstand walk, you can use an ab mat for this piece. Your ab mat is going to be positioned slightly behind your handstand walk line. You must kick up, and when you kick up, get to a vertical line in a handstand before lowering your head down to the mat. Once your head down is on the mat, you can then complete a strict or a kipping to get back up to a locked out position with your arms locked out, your hips locked out, and your feet straight above your body. That is when the rep is completed of rep number 1. You then complete 2 all the way through to 5. This can be a strict or a kipping off the ab mat here. Your 5th handstand push-up must go into your 9-meter unbroken handstand walk. So you can rest before your 5th handstand push-up and then go just that one by itself. But if you do your 5th and then drop, you cannot get up and do your handstand walk. It must be 5th and then go for your walk with your hands behind the line. So once I've finished my last one, hands are behind the line, and then I go for my walk. If I complete my last one over my line, I must get back behind the line before walking forward from there.
Welcome back, everybody, here for test number 3 and test number 4 of the finals of the Continental Cup 2020. Well, 3, 2, 1, go! I guess we are starting directly into the 4-minute AMRAP of burpee box jump overs with a height of 40 inches. These are 1 meter, 100 centimeters for the height of the boxes. And for the second 4-minute AMRAP, we have 5 freestanding handstand push-ups and a 10-second unbroken L-sit on parallels. Well, Gretchen, what do you think about these workouts?
So these workouts will definitely favor a different type of athlete, I think, than our first 2 tests did, right? We talked about how the row and the thrusters were really made probably for a larger athlete. Here we have, more body weight work. Yes, it's a little bit tall going over the box for the burpees, but still being a smaller or lighter athlete, I think, is an advantage here because it's a little bit easier to move your body up and down and over that object. And then the skill test is really going to be a separator when we get to that 4-minute mark here and switch into the next AMRAP. The freestanding handstand push-ups, it's not a skill we see a lot. We don't know. Really, we have no idea which of these athletes are going to excel at that. Who's been practicing that skill, because it's really not something that we see hardly at all in competition. So this is probably a new movement for a lot of them in terms of competing it. Hopefully they've been practicing it. I'm sure they at least have been practicing this week once the announcement was made that the freestanding handstand push-ups are in the test. But with that skill work, right, it's kind of either you have the skill or you don't. And if you don't have it, there's really nowhere to hide. So that's going to be a big separator in about 2 minutes when we get to those first handstand push-ups.
Well, I saw the free handstand push-ups the first time 2017 on a competition in Berlin, and from a field of 10 or 20 athletes, just 2 or 3 could even make it from a free handstand push-up into a handstand walk. So I hope these guys are not only good at endurance stuff and strength stuff, so they are also good at a skill level which is pretty high in this one. Where we are here at the finals. I mean, what should it be else? 1 minute left in this 4-minute AMRAP, and then we're heading directly into this movement we're waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's probably the exciting work or the exciting movement for sure, is to see how everyone does on those handstand push-ups. But we shouldn't neglect to mention they've just done 4 minutes of burpees before that. So their arms are tired, their shoulders are tired from pressing up out of that burpee. And, this burpee AMRAP is a score in itself, so they can't sandbag it here. They really need to make sure they're moving quickly and efficiently over that box. Lots of different techniques going on. They are allowed to put their feet on it and their hands on it. But we see a lot of different ways of getting over that box here, especially in these last 15 seconds or so.
Well, we are 8 seconds away from this. So the athlete's gonna switch, and I'm pretty excited about who's gonna make it and who not.
Mm-hmm. And and the time starts right away, but we see some of the athletes taking a second to kind of collect themselves before they attempt those first handstand push-ups.
And we already see the Canadian guy who is here in the top middle screen. Well, it looks like nothing for him, but I guess the other athletes will have a little break before they're heading into their set. And also the athlete from Spain also get a good rep here on the handstand walk. I did not saw Christoph Howard from Hungary doing a single set here from the free handstand push-ups and handstand yet, but I guess, well,
there he goes.
Here he goes.
And yeah, Stefan from Canada just is already through his second handstand walk, it looks like. So he is really cruising on those. Also, Stefan from France doing well down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. As well as Omar Martinez from Venezuela. He's just got through his second handstand walk.
Remember, guys, after 8 minutes, the athletes will switch again to the burpee box jump overs. And then after these 4 minutes, again as an AMRAP, they're switching again back to the handstand push-ups, handstand walk, and L-sit. So the score for this event will be the total burpee box jump overs in AMRAP number 1 and number 3. And for the test 4, the score for this one will be the total rounds and reps of AMRAP number 2 and 4. So we will have 2 scores again in this combined workout. After this workout, we will show you the leaderboard again. And hopefully we're gonna see some changings here. Make it interesting. Well, guys, leave us a like here below the video, and don't forget to subscribe for the notifications as well. Activate them to not miss the finals of the ladies later on, and also of the teams.
It looks like Uldis from Latvia is speeding up a little bit. He kind of had a slow start on this AMRAP, but he sped up a bit towards the later half as we get ready to transition back to burpees. And if you think about it, 4 minutes is kind of a long time to do burpees. I imagine these athletes are getting probably, I'm not counting per se, but over 10 reps a minute. Even with going over that tall box. So it's not an insignificant number of burpees altogether.
Well, it's the highest height of a box. Like so many years ago, there was like the same event with the high box, with the hay balls as well. But I mean, the athletes are training in the box, but I guess they never trained with the box this high. So it's really out of the comfort zone for the athletes, and also the time for like 4-minute AMRAP, and then changing the movements again for a 4-minute AMRAP. It's not that kind of box programming or programming you have originally in the box, and I also don't see a lot of programmings like these to prepare the athletes for this test. So this test is not just a final workout. The athletes probably will hate it right now.
Yeah, burpees definitely aren't my favorite. I mean, I'm sure some of these guys like burpees, but I'm sure there are a bunch of them that don't.
You think so? I guess nobody likes them.
That could be too. Although I see some people using the technique of kind of jumping straight to their knees and then spinning around, and watching that makes my knees hurt. But they're allowed to do whatever technique they want. So if they like that and think that's faster, they are more than welcome to do it. But I imagine they're going to have some bruises tomorrow.
So, almost 11 minutes into this test number 3 and test number 4. We have 16-minute total on a running clock on these 4-minute AMRAPs.
They're in their home stretch of these burpees here. The last 40 seconds or so. If you look at Uldis in the top right, he's got he's very quick down to the ground. As soon as he hops over that box, he's dropping down nice and quick.
Well, we see Stéphane Osanga from France. He put I guess, a blanket over the box.
Well, that's smart. Smart strategy there to make it a little softer.
Makes it probably 1 centimeter higher. I guess that's okay. So we have the last 4-minute AMRAP right now, and the last chance for the athletes to make some ground. Well, Marcus is resting a little bit, and also a few other athletes are taking a little bit of breath here, and a few other athletes are going right into the next movements. So, I mean, I don't know if it's smart or not. If you can make the set, it's probably smart. But like Christoph Howard right now, he is getting a big no-rep here. So kind of having a few seconds of rest before you starting into the handstand push-ups is okay. So we have the last 3 minutes on the clock. And then we're already finished with test number 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm. And I think, for this test on the handstand push-ups, you don't want to fail reps. Not necessarily because of the strength thing. All of these guys are plenty strong enough to do kipping handstand push-ups. But the element here of, having to keep your balance in that freestanding handstand. And if you fall out of that rep, it's a lot of energy just to keep the balance in the handstand and then not getting the rep. You don't want to waste time or energy or repetitions like that. So I think it's a little bit better if you take that extra half second, really make sure you're ready to get that rep before you go, rather than try to rush it and fail, and then you've got nothing to show for it.
And as you said, we saw a few athletes who failed the handstand walk, who couldn't make the 9 meters, though they're gonna start again with the handstand push-up and go another 9 meters, but you already maybe went 7 meters or 8 meters, so it's taking a lot of energy, and you need this energy for the next events. 1 minute and a half are left on the clock, and we also see Marius Petterson from Norway with a big no rep again and again. So probably he should take some rest here.
And we haven't seen as much in the athletes' videos of their L-sits. They're kind of far away, but they do have to have their 10-second that has to be unbroken. So they need to make sure before they start that L-sit that they're going to make it the entire 10 seconds because that's a difficult movement as well. It taxes your core, and then going right back into those handstands, which also requires a lot of core strength in order to maintain your balance.
So last 30 seconds. I guess the athletes will not rush it right now, but they should hurry up. Last 20 seconds here. And they're sprinting back to the start of the handstand push-ups or L sit-up to make few reps count. So we are done, and we will have the leaderboard in a second. So, event number 3 goes to Uldis. And we have some interesting thing here. The two Latvian athletes are now on the first and second place, followed by Christoph Howard. In this workout, Uldis made the first one, followed by Tomori Itaya from Japan. So we will have the scores of test number 4-2, and here we have first from Venezuela, Omar Martinez. What a big comeback here at test number 4, followed by Stephanie Osanga from France. And well, we have 2 Latvian guys in the first 3 places. We'll have a few clips of our sponsors in a second and have the demonstration video for the last 2 tests.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, Individuals, Test 5 and Test 6. This is 2 separate scores in the same workout. Score number 1 is a 1-minute AMRAP of ground to overhead. Score number 2 is a 9-minute AMRAP starting straight after that first 1 minute of 5 power cleans, 10 wall balls, 50 double unders. The power cleans and the ground to overhead are completed at 55 kilos for the males and 40 kilos for the females. The wall balls are completed at 30 pounds for the males and 20 pounds for the females, to a 10-foot target for the males and a 9-foot target for the females. Have fun with this one, guys.
Gretchen, I really love test number 5 and test number 6. Really. I love them.
I think it's going to be fun to watch. Tough to do, I think, because you really have to go all out this first minute, because that's an entire score, right? That's your power test. You can't afford to drop the bar every rep. You see most of these guys are touch and go. Mostly snatches I see here. A couple clean and jerks, but a lot of these guys snatching that barbell. The hard part is once you go all out for that minute, transitioning right away into that 9-minute AMRAP. You can't really slow down, but you're already pretty taxed from an all-out 1-minute sprint on that barbell.
Well, I thought about this workout, and well, I would prefer to snatch because it's the fastest movement here. But I mean, you're losing your grip, and you need your grip for the 9-minute AMRAP, for the power cleans as well, and also for the double unders. So I'm pretty sure the athletes will go on snatches as long as they can, and then switch to the ground to overhead, well, to the clean and jerk. But we are directly into these 9-minute AMRAP with 5 power cleans, 10 wall balls, and 50 double unders.
And you can see already this first round of this AMRAP going right into it. These athletes, a lot of them, really none of them stringing that barbell together. Those power cleans are not heavy for them, but they were all doing singles because they were just pretty tired after a minute straight of sprinting with the bar. But the two ones to keep your eye on going into this last workout, if you noticed on the leaderboard, Mars is from Latvia in the top right, and then second row on the left, Christoph Horvath, were tied on number of points. They both had 18 points going into this last workout. So, or this last two tests, actually. So they're fighting for that third place podium spot here. I know Marcus did great on the power test in the preliminaries. I think he was top time worldwide. So I'm guessing that power test was probably a strength for him, which means Christoph's going to really have to shine in this AMRAP in order to pull ahead of him in the standings.
Well, as we can see here, as you already mentioned, the athletes are doing singles on the power cleans. That's just 55 kilos. So their grip is done, mostly for most athletes. As we can see here from Javier Gonzalez, he's pretty much doing muscle cleans, I guess. So,
and he's a long time, though. I think he's still in his first round. If you watch, it almost looks... I don't know if he has a cramp. Hopefully it's not an injury, but he's going very, very slowly. Hasn't picked up that wall ball yet.
And he's taking a long, long break here.
Mm-hmm. And he was our top qualifier coming out of the Western European group. But it really looks like that's a bit of a struggle for him here.
So we are already 4 minutes into this workout. And, well, score for test number 5 are the total reps in 1 minute. And for test number 6 are the total reps in 9 minutes. So for every athlete, they gonna push in the first test 5, and then they continue their pace in test number 6. Well, this combination of testing is pretty awful because you gotta go unbroken. You gotta go with a pace on test number 5, and then you are in test number 6, and then you gotta catch your breath a little bit more to continue for the next 9 minutes. So as we see here also from France, he's also doing singles. I guess this whole back line is done after the 1 minute AMRAP ground to overhead.
I did see a little bit ago Christoph Horvath was able to touch and go on his power clean, so it looks like he's recovered a little bit from that first round, and that'll be good for him because he needs to really have a good showing on this AMRAP if he wants to take that third place podium spot.
Well, I have an eye on Uldis. He's performing pretty good in this workout. I guess he's pretty much leading this one. His transition is pretty short, so he's also doing just singles on the power cleans, but well, his transition is just awesome. He's walking right to the wall ball, picking it up, and going for the next movement. And after his wall balls, he's stepping to his rope and beginning just jump. So probably this is one of the keys if you want a good score in this one.
Everybody looks pretty solid on their double unders. We've got a lot of athletes on double unders right now. It looks like some athletes have been able to kind of recover as they've gone and be able to string that barbell together.
Well, they still got 2 minutes left, so it looks like they're warmed up right now.
Yeah. And sometimes that can happen when you have multiple kind of parts in a test or in a workout where you really, like we did with the power set test, they kind of got that heart rate up really high, got really tired. As you start into the next thing, sometimes the second round or the third round might feel better than that first one because you had a chance to kind of find your rhythm, your heart rate comes down a little bit, and they realize, oh, okay, maybe I can, string more reps together than I thought, or I don't quite need as long as a break because your body has this weird way of sort of recovering while you're going. So some of them might be finding their groove here as they get further into the AMRAP.
I mean, we saw Javier going unbroken on the wall balls. He had a lot of struggle here the round before. So we have, the last minute is on the clock. So the athletes will do their best to get as much as reps as possible here. Last 30 seconds. And now also the athlete from Japan is going unbroken on the cleans and wall balls. He's speeding up a little bit for the last 5 seconds. And okay, so it's combined the time. We have 1 minute left, but we also see athletes speeding up for the last minute here on the clock. Last 15 seconds. And the last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are done with this final test for the men's finals here at the Continental Cup 2020. We will have the leaderboard in a second and also the scores for the athletes. So, March's and again Uldis, both Latvian guys, did first and second place here in this testing number 5. And Gretchen, can you see the next scores of test number 6? So we will have them in a second. Here they are.
And wow, look at that. A tie in points for that third place position between Marcus from Latvia and Christoph from Hungary. But it looks like Marcus will win that tiebreaker to take the third place position. And we have Uldis from Latvia as our champion today. Stefan from Canada in second, and Marcus from Latvia takes third, just narrowly by tiebreaker over Christoph Horvath.
Well, this is insane. We have 3 guys from the Eastern Conference here at the Continental Cup, the preliminary. We have Uldis, we have Martis, and we have Christoph Hort. Well, these guys were the first 3 who went to the finals, and we have the Canadian guy who took second. Well, that is awesome. Gretchen, how did you like the men's finals for today?
Yeah, it was a great competition. You know, good results. I mean, Uldis, I'm not surprised when we compared across regions, across the continents. You know, he was the one who was ranked number 1 going in. But it's awesome to see Stefan from Canada up there, and also, you know, Uldis's countrymate Marcus in there. And even having, you know, Christoph in 4th, that's a really good showing from Eastern Europe. We had such a strong showing in the preliminaries for Western Europe when we looked across the rankings. So I'm a little surprised not to see some of our Western European guys up there a little higher. But that's the fun of competition, and this was a great event today.
Well, it was fun for me to host with you, and well, we have next one, women's finals with Ryan.